Western Australia's borders have finally reopened after being closed to most of Australia for 696 long days. Since April 5, 2020, WA has been closed to much of the rest of the nation after Premier Mark McGowan created hard border restrictions because of COVID-19. Mr. McGowan said 28,000 people are expected to flood in over the next few days. Evacuation orders in Sydney and across NSW. A flight arrivals board at the Perth International Airport terminal showing the first flight in from Sydney. Triple-vaccinated Australians with a completed G2G border pass can go to WA after the gates were thrown open at midnight. They must take a rapid test on arrival. Vaccinated people flying in from overseas can now also land in Perth without having to do hotel quarantine. Mr. McGowan admitted in a Facebook post the harsh border closure was not without cost. "I personally am aware of that impact, as my mum and dad live in New South Wales," he said. WA police officers arrive ahead of international flight arrivals at the Perth International Airport terminal. "I understand what it means to be disconnected from family. I know how hard it can be." Just as the Commonwealth shut Australia's international borders, WA became the island within an island. And it worked. By only allowing travel with jurisdictions that were free from COVID-19, we could remain COVID-free ourselves. We avoided long, debilitating lockdowns, and we achieved some of the best health and economic results in the world. Premier Mark McGowan says strict restrictions will be in place and acknowledges that businesses will be impacted amid opening its borders. "We avoided needless deaths." Perth Airport is set to be buzzing with emotional reunions today, as families and friends are reunited. Many won't have seen each other for 2 years, though people in virus-free states were allowed to visit at some points of 2020 and 2021 before the borders slammed shut again. The first people arriving into Perth will be given tourism vouchers as a bonus. Thousands expected to travel to WA as state opens its border. The skyline of the city of Perth in Western Australia. With the border reopening, Premier Mark McGowan has put strict restrictions in place. After having no cases for months, the state is now recording well over 1,000 a day, but hospitalizations remain very low. The rules includes mask wearing inside for adults and children on Year 3 and above, home gatherings limited to 10 people, and 50% capacity for venues such as theatres and sports stadiums. Businesses being impacted. Premier Mark McGowan acknowledged the harsh restrictions would make it difficult for many West Australian businesses. "I know it doesn't make it easy for a number of people and businesses, and for that I am sorry," he said. To help minimise the strain on businesses, Mr. McGowan said he is introducing a $72 million support package. Joe Biden closes US airspace to Russian flights. Elaine Ashurst from the Sayers Cafe in Leederville near Perth CBD says she won't qualify for the government grants. Grants ranging from $3,000 for sole traders to $50,000 for medium-sized businesses with more than 20 employees will be available. To be eligible, businesses will have to prove their turnover is down by at least 50% compared to the same 4-week period last year. Elaine Ashurst from the Sayers Cafe in Leederville near Perth CBD told 9 News she won't qualify for the grants. "It's soul-destroying," Ms. Ashurst said. "If you were 50% down, you'd be shut, because your rent hasn't been reduced by 50%, your costs certainly haven't been reduced by 50%. Ms. Ashurst says her family-run business already began struggling in early 2021 due to the snap lockdown and restrictions. "I sometimes feel that the announcements come out so that the general public think people are being looked after, but we're not," Ms. Ashurst said. Hospitals prepare for borders to reopen. Hospitals in WA are on red alert in preparation for a possible surge in COVID-19 cases as the border reopens. As a result, many Category 2 and 3 elective surgeries have been called off from mid-March. On Wednesday, the state recorded 1,770 new COVID-19 cases, with 16 in hospital and none in ICU.